phenomenal market and is growing at a fast pace. That's the word coming in from Sindhu Gangadharan of SAP Labs. Speaking to my colleague Rachna Dhanrajani, she added that India is playing the right balance between innovation and regulation. She also believes that India has all the right mixes of scale, talent and skill which it can use to its advantage. Here's a snippet of that conversation.
Technology is a great solver when it comes to solving problems at scale, right? So in that sense, yes, there have been some adjustments that happened in the last months. We've seen that. And this is also post-pandemic. There was some correction that was happening, and the numbers say that as well. But what is very clear is everybody is understanding that, hey, there is new technologies like generative AI. It's been the talk of the day, if you ask me, right? Where you need to really build out the ecosystems now. It's not just about the individuals, it's also about how you build the ecosystem.
So generative AI has been a buzzword not only in India but globally. All of it started, of course, with the rise of ChatGPT, but that was also a year and a half ago now. In this year and a half, where do you see AI has developed? Where do you see it going forward? And most importantly, timeline for it to have use cases for the public.
Yeah. No, I think if you just look at generative AI, one thing is very clear, right? It's a disruptive technology. It's a nice complementary aspect to everything that we've been doing with AI. So in that sense, I don't see it as a completely standing out, but yes, it's disruptive. So the kind of use cases that you can address across industries, across roles is just outstanding. So today, if I put on my hat as an R&D leader at SAP, things that generative AI can help us address purely if I just look at it from an R&D point of view, right? Core development skills. Today, you can already generate a lot of that code. You can generate test scripts. You can write documentation, leveraging Gen AI. But the differentiating aspect is how do you make sure that that code, what is written and generated, is tuned to the domain that you're writing that code for? How do you write performant code? We're also seeing phenomenal use cases is all on the customer experience front, right? Really, how do you very quickly address any kind of questions that a user has, no matter in which channel that the user comes in through. Similarly, if you look at areas like multilinguality, I think this is also a very important topic where if you bring in the multilinguality in these large language models, suddenly what you're building for a particular region or a country can be made available in every other country, right? So
where do you stand on regulations needed in AI? Because it could be a disruptive force, as you said, but it also needs to be regulated and in control.
Yeah. No, totally. I think given the fact that it's a disruptive technology, right, you have to have guardrails in place that make sure that we're all leveraging the technology in a very responsible manner, right? And that's important. And the question is, where do you have that right balance? Because you don't want to go on that one extreme where you're highly regulated, you can't drive the innovation because everything is controlled. Or on the other hand, you're on the other side of the spectrum where you're just focused on how do I make my top line numbers and just driven by growth. And I think here India is playing the right balance, and this is also what the minister alluded to, right?
When do you see these use cases of AI come on to general people?
Yeah.
Because sure, ChatGPT is something that all of us can use,
yeah.
But when it comes to incorporating AI in our day-to-day lives,
yeah.
apart from just the B2B cases, where do you think, how long do you think it would come for it to come to us, the consumers?
I think it's already happening as we speak, Rachna. I mean, it's a lot of the use cases that I referred to in terms of also how are you looking at customer experience scenarios, or use cases around how do we offer customer support, right? Again, talking about about a large organization like SAP, I mean, we're talking about serving the needs of 500,000 customers worldwide in 180 plus countries. So here again, we are also leveraging Gen AI today to really look at how are we re-looking and reimagining those business processes? How are we looking at a cash application process? Or how are we looking at sourcing processes? Or how are we looking at managing your entire workforce? Still keeping the budgets in place, but at the same time making sure that your targets from your project targets are kept in place.
Lastly, I'd like to understand your view on where does India stand in the middle of this Gen AI wave that's been riding worldwide?
Oh, well, I mean, this is, I think, my favorite question, if you may will, because India has everything playing to its advantage at this moment, right? Because if you just look at the talent, I mean, we talked about it today. I mean, we are #1 when it comes to AI talent of the world. #1 when we talk about AI skills. I think we're #5 when it comes to AI research, right? So all in all, but that's one aspect, the talent. The second aspect, what I always talk about is the market. I mean, today if you solve for the scale of India, I mean, we have a phenomenal market where productized use cases can be leveraged here. India is all in all, I mean, you have the talent, you have the market, you have the scale at which you can, if it works in India, it works in any part of the world. You know.
Okay, time for a short break, but don't go anywhere. Up next, GSV Ventures is betting big in India. We're going to catch up with the founder on the other side.